special guest views from the stands.
All right, welcome to the show, Mr. Brandon Day. We are extremely excited to have you on here, man. I've been reached out to you a couple of weeks ago to try to get you on. I'm glad we actually got to make this actually happen, man. You got an extremely interesting story, and I was hoping the people would get a chance to hear it. So, without further ado, I'll give you a couple of minutes to humble brag about yourself, my friend.
Awesome, Stevie B, G Mike. Thank you guys for having me. And shameless plug for PodMatch again. I'm stoked. I'm stoked to be on there, that this could happen. It's been a game changer for me in my business, honestly. And they don't even pay me to say that. I just love it. Right.
I 100% agree. They've just honestly always been there for everybody. And I generally think they're great people, and they've always been really cool. So that is not just like one of those that they're helping us out, paying us or something. They're actually really good people. I'm glad you said the same thing 100%. As well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So glad to be here. Talk sports with you guys. And my background, started from a young age playing every sport, anything that had a ball, I was into it for sure, and still to this day. But that ended up, taking me a long way through college football. I played in a small program in Montana called Carroll College. It's part of the NAIA, which I'm sure you guys know is a different organization than the NCAA, usually, private, smaller, religious affiliated schools most of the time. And there's hundreds of them around the country. So big base, but they kind of get lumped in with Division II with the NCAA as far as competition level. But I was fortunate, man, to play in 3 national championships. We won 2 of them. I was an All-American at that level. And I actually ended up on the cover of Sports Illustrated in 2007.
Now that you say that, let's go ahead and without further ado.
Oh,
look at my man on Sports Illustrated.
You had that teed up. Well played. Yeah, nice. Yeah, man, it was a crazy picture. The cool thing about it is you wouldn't really know it was me unless you knew it was me, right? And the whole story behind it with SI was when I talked to the editor, it was the same time, if you see at the top of it, it was when the Mitchell report came out. You guys remember the Mitchell report?
Yeah.
With baseball? Yeah, so the big steroid scandal was going on. Yeah. The editor of Sports Illustrated, the night it was coming out, was I don't know if you know where we're thinking about putting this picture of you. Cool picture, and I'm thinking it's going to be in the back, around the country, sports in little areas, whatever. He's like, no, we're actually thinking about the cover. And I'm like, bullshit, no way. I was already skeptical. I'm checking my caller ID, see, is this actually coming from Sports Illustrated, or is this one of my homies playing a trick on me? Because college football players, we're all about pranking each other all the time. Yeah. So he tells me that, and he's like, we haven't decided yet. We'll call you tonight and let you know. Just so you know, it's between you and Roger Clemens. I'm like,
what a comparison right there. What a comparison there. Oh my God. Yo, I'm gonna say to everybody, I had a guy on the pod that he was compared to Roger Clemens.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like,
all right, that's a wrap for the show tonight. We are actually now in this greatest show we've made.
Mic drop. So I'm thinking no way this is happening, right? But it turns out, right, when I actually talked to him later that night, he's like, we're gonna go with your picture. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. And the reason why was because, well, he didn't say this outright, but I believe that you can't really see who it is. So there's an anonymity there. Mm-hmm. And what he said to me was this is a picture that epitomizes what Sports Illustrated is about, which is sportsmanship, the love of the game. There's nobody in the stands back there. You can't even see the stands back there. But it's there's a couple thousand people at this national championship game, right? We're not playing for the glitz and the glamour or the money, right? None of that. We just play because we love the game. We love the competition. And it came through in that picture. At least that's what he said. And he's like, you can see the joy. That's what we're about. And in this time of turmoil and fraudsters and this steroid scandal and all this negative crap, this is what it's about. So we're going to go with your picture. So the fact that it was kind of a little bit anonymous, you don't know who it is. It's this kid from nowhere, just love of the game. Anybody can see themselves in that. And he's like, that is awesome. So that's how I got on the cover of Sports Illustrated over the Rocket, right?
Dude, that is awesome, man.
Yeah, it's a crazy experience. But after all that, so
Absolutely.
yeah,
You gotta
thank
give
you.
him the applause for sure. I wanted to ask you, right? Because
Yeah.
so we're basically a podcast for any types of sports fans, from little kids to high school, college, pros, whoever wants to watch on or come on and talk about sports, right? So just
Yeah.
to get the perspective about playing college football for the fans out there for that are viewing the show right now, how was it being a part? It's a kind of a two-parter. Being a part of a program playing college football and then being part of a program that won 2 national championships.
Yeah, and I played in 3. We lost the last one.
That
Right?
must have been heartbreaking.
It was my last game ever, and we had won like 25 games in a row at that point. Like junior year undefeated, won the national championship. Senior year undefeated, lost the national championship to Kalen DeBoer, by the way, at Alabama.
Really?
Yeah. He wasn't
Did
at
he go on to
Alabama
do
then,
anything
but
else or anything like that? I never heard of that guy. Has he done anything major?
yeah, right. He's been hiding under a rock somewhere, I think.
Yeah,
But anyway, when I got to Carroll College, I chose the school not because they were winning national championships, really. I really didn't want to go there, to be honest. It was in my hometown of Helena, Montana. And who wants to go play football at a tiny college in their hometown? Like, I wanted to get out and go play it somewhere bigger, right? And I had offers to like Oregon, UCLA, Arizona State, some big D1 schools as like a walk-on, right? Like come like a preferred walk-on type thing. And my naive and like egotistical young self was like, walk on, come on, give me a scholarship, silly attitude. But it ended up serving me a little bit, because when I went to Carroll College, the upperclassmen and the coaches and everybody were like so cool. They took me in. They took me out that night to just like a gathering with some of the seniors, right, to play poker, and just like they were just the chillest dudes ever. And everywhere else that was kind of like so much competition and like, screw you, you're coming to take my job type of feeling. So I chose it for that reason. And it helped that they had won 3 national championships in a row at that point. And then my true freshman year, I got to play in my first national championships. They won. That was the 4th in a row. So they had already built like a culture of winning. And like, I have played on some teams that were not like that, right? We've all probably played on teams that were just like, coaches didn't really care. Players were playing for themselves.
Definitely.
It's not very fun, to be honest, right? And you can get checked out, and it's like, it's not that fun. But when you get on a team where everybody is like going the same direction and they are in it like for the same goal and like holding each other accountable to that and really there for each other, man, that is a wildly different experience. And it is intoxicating in many ways. And it's fantastic. Like we said this often at Carroll. Like, we knew that there was some magic going on. It was bigger than all of us, right? It comes down to the coaching staff, sure. But more than that, like the coaching staff, they had good schemes. Sure. They were great coaches, but they were even better recruiters, and they built their team. I would ask my head coach this often. And I coached after I got done because I was still in school. And he would say this to me all the time, like we coach or we recruit character over everything. Like, I can take the best guys in the world, the best athletes, but if they don't give a crap about each other, if they're not going to play for the team and they're in it for themselves, then we're all going to fail, right? So he would take a player that may not be quite as fast or big as the next guy, but the guy that's got good character, right? He's going to be doing his business in school, right? He is maybe doing things in the community, like little things that show that he has good character.
Yeah, character.
Way more important. Yeah. And it showed. And I know DeBoer actually does the same thing. Like, he recruits on that, and that's how I think he's seen so much success so quickly too. at every
And
level.
just we're on the same. Everybody can know a little bit more as well. Like we were saying before, we're interviewing Mr. Brandon Day. You played safety, correct?
Outside linebacker, safety.
Outside
Yeah,
linebacker,
kind of
okay.
like we played a 3-4, so I
Like
was more
hybrid.
coverage linebacker. Yeah.
Okay, man, that's awesome, man. That is really cool.
It sounds like a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, seriously, man.
Honestly.
Yeah.
You were
could
telling
be.
us something interesting too about Montana as well, and you were saying before that there's a lot of more recruits coming out of there now in the last like decade or so, something like that, maybe 2 decades. That almost a place that was forgotten about for football, correct?
Yeah, it was really interesting. I never really thought about it this way. A buddy of mine, former teammate, made a documentary. He's a filmmaker now, and he made a documentary about our college, Carroll College. Just came out. It's on YouTube. You can go watch it. It's really well done. Like, he did an awesome job with it. And it's about that 4-peat. And that first 4-peat was wild. Like, it was, you talk about the culture and of winning and all that stuff is amazing. But he interviewed Kalen DeBoer, and I'm sure your listeners know who Kalen DeBoer is. If they don't, he's the head coach of Alabama. And he came from Washington, got to play in a national championship with Washington in his, was it his first or second year in D1 as a D1 head coach. And he went from Sioux Falls.
Yeah.
Maybe second year, yeah. So he went from, he started at Sioux Falls, South Dakota, which was in the NAIA, right? And he built that program up and did really well as a young coach there. And then they actually moved up to D2 for the NCAA. They changed organizations. And then he went somewhere else in between, shortstop somewhere else. I don't remember exactly, but then he got to Washington, like in a very quick succession. Like, he just meteoric rise through the ranks. And now he's at Alabama and just crushing it, right? Mm-hmm. So anyway, my buddy goes and interviews DeBoer down at Alabama about this time when he was in Sioux Falls, because we had played them numerous times because they were a powerhouse too, right? But we played some pretty epic games against Sioux Falls in those years. We usually came out on top, humble brag there.
Hey, but you got thrown in there somehow, right?
Don't be modest.
He ended up getting the best of us. So that Sports Illustrated cover, we played against DeBoer in Sioux Falls, and we beat him.
Oh, wow. So that actually is the board game there.
Yeah. So that's who we beat in that one. And then the next year in 2008, we played them again in the national championship, and they stomped us pretty good. Like, it wasn't like an ass kicking, but it kind of was. Like, the score didn't really reflect it. I think it was, I don't remember exactly. I kind of tried to black it out of my mind, but something like 27-10 or 17-6.
Who's counting, right?
Yeah, who's counting?
Yeah.
But he got us back, right?
I do have a question about the picture on here too, because it is an awesome picture. You're completely right, and like, I think you nailed it exactly what the editor was talking about and stuff with it, because it could be anybody out there, and just the joy that you have in there and stuff. But you can't help but notice how nasty the field. Like, where was this game, and like, what the hell was going on there?
So they had the national championship for the NAI. They bid on it, and it was a 10-year contract, and it was in Savannah, Tennessee. Now, Savannah, Tennessee, back in the day, had a big paper mill there, and it was a thriving community. These days, it's kind of like the paper mill shut down, so it's not exactly a ghost town, but it's not a big population. We played at the high school stadium there, and they had just put new sod on the field for the national championship, but the sod was not draining properly, and then of course it rains for like 4 days leading up to the game. God. So it is just on the sideline. We were standing there in like 3 inches of standing water, and it's like 42 degrees. It's still raining, and it was cold, like biting to the bone cold. And so, like, before the game, I'd go to my buddy Zach right there, number 7. He played safety. We were close. He was a captain with me the next year. He looks at me, and we're like, all right, after we win this game, we're doing penguin slide right down the middle of that, like, mud ball, mud bath in the middle of the field. Like, who didn't play, football or baseball or soccer or as a kid in the backyard or something? And the mud ball games, those are the funnest games, right?
Yeah.
and especially when you win. But
Yeah, right. Makes it all worth it.
yeah, so when we ended up winning, we walk through the line, shake hands, and he's right behind me, and I just look at him, he looks at me, and we just take off running. And that's what you see there. Like we both did this big penguin slide, and then at the end, I just like threw my arms up in celebration, screamed to the gods, and he happened to be standing right there. The photographer was an AP guy who was not even supposed to be there. He was covering for somebody else, didn't want to be there, right? He's like, what is this, like high school football? Oh, it's college? Weird. He's like, I would much rather be somewhere warm right now. And later on, I found out that I didn't see him standing there. He was just walking by to get off the field because he was done. And he saw me slide. He saw me do the pose, and he just turned and clicked. And his screen went memory card full.
What?
So he just like turned, clicked, memory card full, walked off. And then later on, opened it up. Last photo on his memory card was this one. And he's like, oh, that's a pretty good photo.
Shot.
Hey,
Yeah,
that was
out.
God, man. That was God for sure. Putting in the work, man.
100%
That is crazy. Even more, just hearing more about what went all into that, and that being almost didn't even happen. Like that is just insane. All of it, making
Hallmark movie, baby. Hallmark movie. We gotta get this.
You want to hear something even crazier? I used to say that I was just lucky, right place, right time. I had nothing to do with it. Blah blah blah. I don't say that shit anymore because I think that's bad mindset work, right? You gotta take responsibility for the good, for the bad, and for the good, right?
Exactly.
Like I worked my ass off to get to that point.
Cause and effect,
deserve it, 100%. Well, here's the crazy thing. 3 years before that moment, I was in high school. I was a senior in high school, and one of my best friends in his art class photoshopped a photo of him and I on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, that's crazy,
our football season for senior
Destiny
year.
For real. Destiny
Dude,
for real.
like talk about manifestation, like God getting involved. It was like you put it out there, anything can happen.
Dude, we could have a whole episode on that because I believe in that wholeheartedly. Sure. Like you put it out there, it's gonna happen.